Oh, what's up, Danville leaders? This is Chad Davis, Assistant Pastor of Student Ministries at Harmony Bible Church, coming to you with your weekly coffee chat with Chad. I'm currently doing some service elements here at the Burlington campus, and I don't have a table to put coffee on. So you are on a stool, and I'm sitting in a plastic chair. I hope that's cool. I hope God is blessing you with lots of love and time with your family, as well as plenty of toilet paper. So just praying for you guys, love you guys. Been having some conversations with you. And as we start this off, I just want to tell you, if I haven't contacted you to have a conversation with you yet, that's probably because I don't have your information. What I'd love you to do when you receive this video, you receive this video link in a flock note. You can actually reply to that flock note. Annie will get it, and she will help you get scheduled for a time to talk with me on the phone. I want to talk with all the small group leaders there in Danville, learn what's been going on with you this year, hear feedback from this year, hear feedback what you want to do next year. Just learning a lot. There's a lot going on, but I'm just trying to contact everyone to get some input, get some help to help you guys be as successful as you can be in your ministries. So anyway, and also get to know, more importantly and most importantly, you guys can get to know me a little bit, and I can get to know you all. I know a lot of you all already, but I look forward to the chance to talk with all of you all via the phone. So I wanted to tell you all about that. Again, if you even think someone has received this video, please share it with them. I want to be sure that this information is getting out to leaders. I'm asking you not to share it with parents. I've filmed a completely separate video for that, but this is for leaders. We may talk a bit more frankly about things in here, and obviously, that's probably just not appropriate for some circles. So, love you guys. I hope everything is going well. Again, if I haven't talked with you, please comment back to the flock note that you received this link in. Annie will help you get set up with a time so that we can chat. I want to chat with all you guys, and we'll talk a little bit more about that here in just a second. So, wanted to first just take some time and give you guys some updates. So I know we talked about a fiesta when we come back from this COVID-19 outbreak and everything associated with that. Now, to be honest, we have no idea still yet, updating you guys week to week when that's going to be, but as soon as we hear tell of some reliable data that's fact-checked several different ways, where we can officially come to you guys and say, hey, here's a pretty good idea of when we'll be back. We won't know when that's happening. Now, what I'll talk about here in a second will be really pertinent to that. Regardless of when we come back, I would love for you guys to take part in that fiesta. We're doing it regardless. We've got people who can make it happen, but I really, really want you guys to be a part of that fiesta. I'd love to make a part of it small groups, and I'd love for you guys to get one contact with your small groups before we're officially done. But regardless of what happens, I've talked to the church. I hear it may be involved with some stuff. All that's very up in the air right now, but I'll let you guys know as we know. Hopefully we get a couple weeks before we know we'll be back in church. They'll steadily be letting off the gas, and we'll have a really good way to predict when we can do that. But regardless, even if it's in July, we're going to be doing the fiesta. So I just want to let you guys know that up front. We want to have a party. I think it's biblical to celebrate. I think it's amazing that we'll be able to fellowship together. And I just think it's a good thing for all of us to come together just because our year got cut short. And I know I just touched my face, but I did hand sanitize. All right. So, I want to update you on that. The second thing is the summer calendar. Some of you all may have seen a summer calendar for student ministry. If you received that via paper or you have it, you can either delete that from your files or wad it up and throw it in the trash. That thing is pretty well useless at this point. When we begin to come back, I have several summer calendars. Whenever we're released from quarantine, we will come back together. I will release a summer calendar to you all, and that'll be really important for a few things we're going to talk about here in a second that I think is great. All right, next thing is a parent meeting. I'm going to try, with Annie's help, hopefully this week, to set up a time to speak with parents holistically at both campuses and tell them a lot of this stuff that I'm telling you, probably in these emails, but I'd love to really just have that time to answer questions and sort of do that kind of thing. Next thing, I want to talk about the upcoming convos. When we talk together, I've talked with a lot of you guys already, and everyone I talked to will be coming back next year. And so the upcoming convo that we're going to have, I'm going to ask you guys, I know I mentioned it about, I guess it's been 2 or 3 weeks ago now, I just wanted to say that I'll be having a convo with you, and we'll talk about that here in a second. Either way is fine, whether you're coming back next year or you're not coming back next year. I would love to just hear your heart, hear what's going on, learn more about you. But in that conversation, we will be having a conversation, so I invite you to really pray and think through whether you'll be back next year or not. Either one is fine, but we'll be more than happy to talk about that. Next thing we need to talk about, May 10 was going to be Picnic and Praise, I believe it was called. Obviously, as of right now, we don't know if we'll be doing that. Probably not, if I had to guess. So what I'll let you guys know is that May 10th, regardless of how things go, groups end. So I know you guys are doing a great job of meeting with your students via Zoom right now, and you guys are being sure that you're investing in them. And so May 10th, groups will end, okay? You don't have that expectation anymore. You guys take the break from the summer. You all are used to that. I work the same way as Matt does. We'll talk a little bit more about just some suggestions that I might have. A lot of you guys probably do your own thing. This is just from my heart to your all's heart. These are just some suggestions that I have as summer comes through. We'll talk about those in a second, but I want you to know May 10th, regardless of when the fiesta is, remember that's separate from our normal calendar. That's whenever this is over, but you guys are free to, stop your normal group meetings on May 10th. Now, before we move on to our next thing, I really just want to encourage you guys. I obviously can't tell you all what to do. You guys are in this craziness just with us. But I really want to encourage you guys. May 10th is only a few weeks down the road. It's something like a little over 3 weeks, I think, if you include this week. So there's not a lot of time left to invest in students. So I really encourage you guys to take this time and really connect with students via Zoom, via social media, and just love on them. We've got these Devos coming up for you guys to meet together. Discussion guide is, of course, as always, attached below. So be sure that you're doing those things. Next thing, April 22nd meeting. So before we moved on, I got some feedback from a few of you all about last time's meeting. And it was very, very helpful. But before we move on, I just want to say that I'm sorry if I came back pushy and bossy in that meeting. I was not trying to be. The meeting just ended up being chaos. It was supposed to be 15 minutes longer, but I fought tech issues for 45 minutes. It really didn't go exactly as planned, and I knew you all needed that information to pray through and make decisions so we can have these combos in the next coming weeks to help you decide whether you'll be working in student ministry or not, or maybe another ministry next year. And really wanted to get that information to you. So before we move on and anything else, I just wanted to pause and apologize. That was not my intent at all. I was just trying to get the information in your all's hands as fast as possible and be sure that you all had the opportunity to go to the Equip You thing as well. So I just wanted to let you all know if that came across ugly, I apologize. Not my intention at all. However, April 2nd, we have a meeting again. Now, what is that meeting for? April 8th, I told you everything. I downloaded all the stuff. You guys probably wrote notes on that. I'm going to try to get some notes out to you. I can't promise I'll get them out before the 22nd because this is just chaos right now. But I will do my best to get those notes to you before the 22nd so you guys can write all the stuff down that we talked about and think through things and things like that. The next meeting we have is going to be talking about some of the specifics for next year, which are not a ton right now because of COVID-19. I'm really, usually by this point, I have next year's calendar and teaching calendar nearly done, but I just don't know what's going to happen with this, so I've delayed. I have a few documents, but yeah, anyway, we'll be talking through a little bit of that, as much as I know thus far, which is not a ton. So anyway, we'll be working through that. I also just wanted to encourage you guys. Develop questions from the meeting we had on April 8th and bring those to that meeting. That'll be a time that everybody in the Zoom call can ask any question. The first part I talked about probably take like max 10 minutes. I literally want to leave the rest for you guys to ask questions, for you guys to give, for me to give an opportunity to answer those questions because I think it's really positive. I would much rather meet with you in person. But I am going to make lemonade out of apples right now, and we will have to do it via Zoom. I was hoping the quarantine would end by now, but it hasn't. So we will be doing that via Zoom. Please bring your questions. I would love to answer them, big, small, whatever. would definitely love to answer them, as well as, don't forget, once again, respond to this in flock notes so that Annie can schedule you for a meeting time. All right, let me flip my board around here so we have the rest of the notes for what I want to talk to you guys about this week. So what I prepared here on my board is just a few suggestions. I've been doing student ministry now for 11 years. I started when I was 19 years old when I became the volunteer youth guy, which is everybody wants that position, right? So I started then, and since then I've been custodian, I've done a lot of things. But one of the things that I've done since I've actually been 17 years old, I have been a small group leader. So I have hours and hours and hours prepping, executing all kinds of stuff concerning small groups. And what I want to share is not only what I've been trained as a pastor to do, but also I just want to share some encouragement with you all as we're praying through and we're going to have these conversations about what next year brings for you personally. I just want to have a couple of conversations around what I think would be wise concerning people who will be coming back in the fall, and what I think would be wise if you're not coming back in the fall, a few practical things that either of those camps can use to do that. Now, I want to go ahead and warn you guys before we hop into this. They're in steps, okay? Step 1 and step 2 for coming back in the fall and not coming back in the fall are exactly the same. So I have a couple notes towards the end that I'll talk about in both of those, but I just want to let you guys know this is how, so let me put it this way. This is how I would be investing in my students towards the end of the year to prepare them to not be around me in the same sort of way throughout the next year, regardless of if I'm coming back in the fall or not. So first category, if you plan on coming back in the fall, one thing I would encourage you to do, a first smart step I would say would be to share and prepare. Now I'm going to ask that, again, step 1, step 2, regardless of which side you're on, share and prepare is on both sides. Share first with me through a phone call or through a text message. If you're coming back, I'd love a text message. Love you to shoot me an email, Chad Davis at ChadDavis@HarmonyBibleChurch.org will get you in touch with me, or you can just comment back to Annie and she'll set up a time. So share and prepare. I really want to encourage you guys to share. Share with your students that you'll be coming back next year and prepare them to be off through the summer, okay? By prepare, maybe do some stuff on Bible reading, maybe set up a Facebook group if you're coming back, obviously all those things. Next thing, even if you're coming back next summer, I would highly encourage you to de-stress and rest. So obviously, one of the things here at Harmony I've been given the privilege to do is be assistant pastor. So as part of that, I am not only a pastor of these students, I am pastoring you all as well. And one thing that I really want to encourage you all to do is get some rest. That's right. Take a break from student ministry. I know they're awesome. I know they're fun. I know you probably have a lot of crazy things in life, but I want to encourage you to take at least 2 weeks off from students. Don't call them, don't talk to them. Enjoy some time. You and Jesus get close and learn some things. So obviously we've got share and prepare, then we've got de-stress and rest. And then next thing I want to encourage you, if you're coming back next fall, I want to encourage you to prepare. Obviously, step 1 is going to be at the end of the school year. Step 2 is going to be directly after things close up. Step 3 is going to be proximity and opportunity. All right? So throughout the summer, we are going to have some sort of summer calendar. We'll have Sunday night events. We'll have some Bible studies that will be meeting at my house. I encourage you all as leaders to come to those when you can. Think through the summer. Think of opportunities where you can come with those when we get all those dates ironed out. That's why I made that announcement at the first part of this meeting. And think about what opportunities, even if you can't come to those, think about, especially if you're coming back in the fall, once you've de-stressed and rest, think about some opportunities where you can get people together at your house for a barbecue or go to the pool or do something that is sort of out of the ordinary, maybe twice this summer, just to touch base with your students before we come back, all right? So we have share and prepare in the school year. We have de-stress and rest directly after that for just a couple weeks. And then we've got proximity and opportunity. Think through your summer. Obviously, you're going on vacations and stuff. Think of times where you'll be close to your students and where you can have opportunity just to connect with them. Nothing serious, no Bible study. Now, I'll take care of all that stuff this summer, but just think of a couple times that you can touch base with them. Be a really, really great thing. Next thing is to connect and communicate. So as we go into next year, towards the end of this summer, I would really encourage you all to connect and communicate with your students, saying, hey, coming back next year, did you forget? Awesome, we connected a couple times this summer, but really want to connect with you and your parents and say, hey, come on in next year, it'll be great, all right? So that's the 4 steps: share and prepare as we end out the school year or quarantine or whatever you want to call this. Distress and rest. Take a couple weeks after May 10th and just sort of find yourself, get yourself calm. Next thing is proximity and opportunity. Look at when you'll be close to your students, take advantage of those opportunities. Next thing is connect and communicate. Okay, connect with the students and communicate as we get ready to come back. So step 1, step 2, step 3, step 3, step 4. Step 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. All right, so let's talk about if you're not returning in the fall. If you're thinking, hey, I'm leaning that way, here's just some things that I would encourage you. You don't have to, but I would highly encourage you to do. Again, share and prepare. Obviously, share with me first so we can prepare for that as an organization. But then share with your students and prepare them maybe to be with a different leader or be handed off to your co-leader come next year. Next thing is distress and rest. Take some time to de-stress and rest regardless. Again, as a pastor, I want to encourage you to spend time resting in Christ so that he can do a work in you so that he might do a work through you. All right? Next thing, this is where they change up. Space, not separate. I still talk. I've had small group leaders who weren't my small group leaders all through high school that I still connect with probably on a yearly basis. I love hearing from them. They still pour into my life. So just because you may not be coming back doesn't mean that you need to separate. There is obviously going to be space there. You will obviously not be with us in the service, but space, not separate. Next thing, commit to a new ministry. Now, this is the pastoral side of me saying, if maybe that's a ministry to your mom and dad if they're sick, or your kid if they're sick. Maybe it's a ministry to your wife who has just been saying you've been gone for a while. Maybe it's getting involved in children's ministry. Maybe it's getting involved with the deacons. Maybe it's getting involved with the handyman ministry. Maybe it's getting involved with Bridges Out of Poverty. Maybe it's getting involved with the Maple Leaf here in town. Whatever it is, commit to a new ministry. Whatever that ministry is, you always need to be in ministry. We always need to be getting poured into and then getting poured out into a new ministry. So even if you decide not to come back, please know that I love you. And as a pastor, I would highly encourage you to take not only time to rest, but find a new ministry. So that is all I have for you. Again, let's cover just a couple things. If you haven't heard from me via email or a text to set up a time to talk, please respond to the flock note that you got the link for this video in and talk to Annie. Annie will include that information below. I want to set up a time. I want to call you. I want to talk with you. I want you guys to hear my heart. I really want to hear your heart as I'm coming into this. I know I've been there a lot, but I really want to hear more. I want to hear your experiences. I want to hear what you've learned, what you're going to change, what challenges are. I really do want to take about 20 to 30 minutes of your time and talk through that. I mean, most of us do have a little bit of extra time in quarantine, so I hope that you can take the time to do some of that. The next thing that I would love you to do is share this video. Even if you think a leader has it, just say, I think you already have this, but here it is just in case, all right? Share this with any leader that is in student ministry there in Danville who might need to get it, as our database, I don't think, reaches everybody like we'd like it to quite yet. We are definitely getting there, all right? So I love you guys. I am praying for you. If there's anything that I can do, please let me know. Email Annie. You can call the main church and get sent to my office phone. I check the messages at least twice a week, so I'll get to you. Love you guys. Please be in contact, and I hope God blesses you through this quarantine. And if you don't have toilet paper, this stuff works too.